Hansal Mehta's film on the terror attack in Dhaka in 2016 is about to release next week. It's called Faraaz. It's based on a real-life incident. It's a bold statement against terrorism, and it deals with a sensitive issue of not just terrorism, but how it is dealt with afterwards by a community as well. Hansal Mehta, in fact, the filmmaker, is here with us in the studio.
इराक से खलीफा ने पूरे दुनिया के मुस्लिमों को आवाज लगाई। जो भी अल्लाह की कुर्बत को नहीं समझते, उन्हें खत्म करो।
All units come in, all units come in.
Hostage situation. काफी civilians और foreign nationals
बांग्लादेश का शहजादा।
Please.
When everyone is gone, हमें याद रखा जाएगा।
इनको लगता है मासूम को मार के इनको ब्लेसिंग्स मिलते हैं।
अल्लाह
इस्लाम के ठेकेदार बनते हैं बेंच।
मेरा बेटा वहाँ पूरी रात से अंदर फंसा हुआ है। अगर आप लोगों से नहीं हो रहा है तो मुझे बताइए, I will go in.
हम खतरे में हैं।
Stop it! हमारी आइडेंटिटी हमारे कल्चर से आती है, सिर्फ हमारे रिलीजन से नहीं।
I am how every Muslim should be.
पहले इंसान बन, बाद में सोचना मुस्लिम होना क्या होता है।
तुझे चाहिए क्या यार?
तुम जैसों से अपना इस्लाम वापस।
Hansal Mehta, the filmmaker, is here with us in the studio. Many thanks, Hansal Mehta, for joining us here on NDTV. You've overcome legal hurdles for your film to release finally next week. What were these legal hurdles? Can you explain to us?
Well, this film has gone through its share of turmoil, and I always believe when the path is difficult, it is also, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's heading towards that light. It's been through 2 lockdowns and a slightly protracted legal battle. The matter is still before the Honorable Delhi High Court because it's gone into appeal. The plaintiffs have appealed Delhi High Court, and we have chosen to remain dignified and maintain our faith in the judiciary. We had an order from the Honorable Court on October 14th, after which the film was screened. It was injuncted for almost a year. After the order of the High Court, it was quite a landmark order. It was screened at the London Film Festival, and since the release date has been announced, there is a hearing that is going on with the division bench.
If I may, why did you choose this subject to make? Clearly, it was a difficult one. It looks at the issue of terrorism, but also looks at the issue of, the others very sensitively. But why did you choose to make this movie?
Well,
and the character, Faraaz.
Right.
Yes.
Well, if you see the film, in the end of the film, there's a very passionate speech by Faraaz's mother. Now, that speech was the catalyst for the film. Bhatt Sahab, Mahesh Bhatt, was present when that speech was delivered, and he called me after that and said, there's this inspiring story. I think it's a film. This is material for a film. And we met, we spoke about it, and I felt that through Faraaz, Faraaz for me, while it is the name of the protagonist, for me the meaning of the word Faraaz, standing tall, has a larger, it's a metaphor for what we should be today.
And he lived up to it as well.
He lived up to it, and it's also the lesson that he leaves behind. Faraaz is not your typical protagonist because he comes into his own. It's an ordinary man who stands tall. Yes. So it's about ordinary people like us standing tall in times of extreme crisis, and that's what we need today. As a protagonist, he comes into his own only around 40-50 minutes into the film. So you barely see him until then. And it's an unusual way, to launch Shashi Kapoor's grandson, without the big introduction scene or anything. But I think it's a lot about standing tall in these times. And so Faraaz has a larger meaning while it is based on the incident, those tense hours inside the cafe, and where 5 young men held an entire country to ransom. I thought that story had a global resonance, that through this story we could open up a conversation on the misuse of religion for violent acts. And the religion could be any. When he says in the end कि मुझे तुम जैसों से अपना इस्लाम वापस चाहिए, I can replace Islam. It is replaceable, Islam. The use of violence, using religion as a violence, an excuse for violence. We need to talk about that.
Hansal Mehta, terrorism is a very difficult issue to deal with in filmmaking, especially because more often than not we see it tilting towards jingoism at the end of the day.
True.
How difficult was it for you to draw that distinction that you're not going down that path?
Oh, I don't know. That's how I make films. I don't judge my characters. I observe them. I tell you a story through the characters. I don't see terrorists as terrorists. I see them as characters who are doing something because of motivations that they believe are right. So it's that battle is, while I have my own opinion on it, I don't enforce that opinion on my characters. And so I think and I'm sensitive to the, so I believe that through my stories, if I can build an empathy towards the plight of those who believe in religion as a means of teaching you a way of life, then, I should be telling my stories that way.
And it's not just, a legal battle that you're still fighting, but also on social media. I understand that, there were a lot of people who questioned why you made this movie, and some people use the word shameless as well, saying that, it's a shameless act that you've used this or commercially exploited it, if that is what they meant. Well,
commercial exploitation, the film has been made at a very moderate budget. It's with young actors, young new actors. It's being released with pride in a few theatres, and it does not have those big marketing budgets. It's not meant for commercial exploitation. It is not meant for the large weekend. For that you have Pathan releasing this week. We have, Faraaz, for us is a film that, it's a story that needs to be told. It is a story of our times. It's a story of the youth of our times. So through Faraaz, I am also trying to understand the youth. What drives you? Why this mindless hatred? So I am trying to explore themes of hatred, of love, of bravery, of resilience, and in the youth who we believe are completely numbed by social media.
So my final question, on the one hand, you are making a movie on a very tricky subject. You want people to watch it and infer what they can from their movie. You just heard Kabir Bedi, you heard my conversation with him. On the other hand, he's an artist and he believes that if certain documentaries or movies can inflame passion, then they should be banned. That's his opinion. Would you say that's the correct way of approaching cinema?
No. Absolutely not. I think no work of, no expression deserves to be banned. I believe people should see. That is the reason, these stories need to be told. We need to tell more and more stories, no matter how biased they are, no matter how much I disagree with them. I think they need to be told, and let people, give them the chance. Don't underestimate their potential to understand and to discern. You're taking away the power of discerning by blocking it from them. You're making them suspect you even more. Don't make them suspicious of you. Take them along.
All right. Hansal Mehta, many thanks for joining us this evening here tonight on NDTV.
Thank you.